Hoka hey, Alita Army. I know there's only 3 of you out there right now, but that's okay. So anyway, welcome to the Alita Livestream. We talk about all things Alita here. I'm your host, Muskogee Creek, and my co-host Angelus hasn't made it yet. So anyway, we'll be getting with him a little bit later. If anybody wants to join in on the stream, then I posted a link in the chat. You can just click on that and come on. Anybody is welcome. So David or Sluggy Tinky, either one of you, if you want to come on here, just go ahead and click on that link. Okay, so anyway, well, I guess even though there's only 2 of you out there now, I guess I'll go ahead and get started with this. Anyway, like I say, we want to take a look at how Alita compares, with other, I guess you could call them even artificial life forms in some ways, but cyborgs, androids, and we'll even address some robots when we get in there, some of the more famous ones anyway. So just to recap, just a couple of things. Oh, by the way, here's another thing about this too. This is not like we're putting them up to fight each other. We're not doing that at all. I mean, it's simply just a comparison of their abilities is what it is. And as you can see there, the first one we want to definitely talk about, and the one nearest and dearest to our hearts, of course, is Alita. And as we've established on maybe 2 or 3 streams in the past, she does have superhuman strength. Even in her doll body, she's pretty strong. But in her berserker body, certainly, and then most definitely in her Imaginos body, she has many times the strength of a human. I think in some past streams, we've talked about her having at least 10 times the strength of an average human, even in her berserker body. In her Imaginos body, she's a lot stronger than that. She has a very pronounced rapid self-healing capability. Basically, if she gets injured in any way, like we saw that when Gruishka punctured her when she was in Vector's office, that she healed from that puncture really within seconds. In terms of her speed, now well, by the way, let me go back to the durability thing, just comparing her to humans. Humans do self-heal themselves, and I think we established this a couple of weeks ago, but the difference is it takes us longer to heal. If you get a cut, it might take you, depending on the severity of the cut, anywhere from, say, a week to maybe 2 or 3 weeks to a couple of months, depending on how bad the cut is. But with Alita, if she gets cut in some way or punctured, as we saw in the movie, she heals really fast. Within maybe 2 or 3 seconds, she is healed. So so that's a big difference, and that's certainly a superhuman trait. In terms of her speed, in her berserker body, and well, first of all, in her doll body, she's not as fast. She's probably no faster than humans, I would say. We saw that when she was running toward Romo. She appeared to have, kind of maybe pretty good speed, but not anything that would be outstanding compared to humans. In her berserker body, though, she has speed that she can run in speeds in excess of 100 miles an hour. We saw that when she attacked those enforcers, those Centurions in the factory. And I think in a video I established, I calculated or estimated that she actually she was moving at about 125 miles an hour, which is which is almost 100 miles an hour faster than the Olympic gold medal winner in 2016. So that's definitely superhuman speed right there. In her berserker body, her Imaginos body is a lot different. In her Imaginos body, she can run at speeds near light. So, you think about if she ran speeds of even 10% the speed of light or 90% or whatever, certainly no human can, well, first of all, no human can run 100 miles an hour, but there is certainly no human that can run speeds approaching light. So that is very much a superhuman trait right there. She has very fast reflexes. She deflected a bullet within 10 milliseconds, as we saw in her fight with the Centurions. She also cut that grind cutter that Gerwishka shot at her initially. Now, I didn't calculate how much speed, how fast her reflexes were there, but for you to actually repel that and cut that grind cutter the way she did, that would require pretty fast reflexes. And certainly being a cyborg, she's going to have stamina. As a matter of fact, in the novelization, I think, and in the manga, you can see that cyborgs, particularly those in a berserker body, but cyborgs can run, and they can continue to run until, say one of their legs falls off or something like that. A human can't do that. So, she can definitely go and go and go. She is very old now. I think we established a few weeks ago on the Radio Chaos stream that that part of her longevity was attributed to her being in a time stasis field that was being driven by her heart or by her core. Plus, she had those nanobots or nano machines in her that would repair anything that was going wrong with her, even her organic part of her body, which in this case would be her brain. Certainly she can self-modify, and she does that, and that's part of that rapid healing there, where she doesn't really have to intend to heal herself. She doesn't have to think about it. It's a subconscious thing, and that's a little different than some other cyborgs or androids that they can't actually do that, or some of them can't. We're going to go into that in a little bit, but she can actually, her body can modify itself based on her subconscious. She can manipulate plasma, which is something that human beings can't do also. And she knows Panzerkunst. Now that's a fictitious martial art. But it's very similar to karate. But one of the things about Panzerkunst is it's specifically designed for cyborgs. So, and certainly one of the things about it that is no human martial art is actually trained or is trained to do is that fighting in 0G gravity. So, or even very low gravity. That's one of the things about Panzerkunst that's different from any martial art on Earth. And then, of course, she is a total replacement cyborg. You could make the case that she is in excess of 99% machine or just cyborg herself. I mean, her brain is actually the only thing about her that is organic. Everything else about her is cyborg or machine. Okay. So anyway, now that we've kind of looked at Alita and what she, some of her characteristics, one that we definitely want to come up in Den stream a couple of times. It's an individual called Android 18. Now, the Android 18 is from the Dragon Ball universe. Now, I don't know a lot about Android 18, but I was able to do a little research on her. And she definitely has superhuman strength herself. She is very durable, and she can move at very fast speeds. And I don't know if she can move at relativistic speeds or not. I wasn't able to establish that. But like Alita, she has very fast reflexes, and she has tremendously strong stamina. So she's, basically a cyborg. She's a cyborg herself. Now, you see that name, Android 18. Let me welcome Aunt Maxie before we get too much further. How's it going, Maxie?
Oh, yeah. Well, besides screwing things up right royally first thing this morning, not too bad.
What'd you screw up?
Oh, I was supposed to be on recording of the Movie Seller podcast with Cranberry. And because of daylight savings kicking in the East Coast USA, I was an hour late. I'm like,
oh, man. Oh, yeah, that gets a lot of people. As a matter of fact, I think you remember some time ago, on the Radio Chaos stream, I got bit by that. I came on an hour late. I don't know if you remember that or not, but yeah, that kind of got me at times. It gets Americans too. It doesn't just get people around the world. It gets us too, you know.
Well, the RK stream, I try and leave it on 9 p.m. GMT. So, you know, everything moves around that, but it stays the same. So as long as everybody is reacting to GMT and taking their own modification into account, then it's okay, because it doesn't actually change. You've just got to remember that your time zone's changed. But when you say, oh, it's 6 p.m. East Coast USA, that doesn't even say whether it's EST or is it DST?
Yeah,
they call it. So,
well, they call it daylight DST for daylight savings time, but it's not a time zone. It's you know, there's EST, CST, MST, and PST in the United States, and I think Hawaii, they got their own time zone. Alaska may have their own time zone too. I'm not sure, you know, about that.
Where is the time zone PMS?
PMS.
I'm sure there's a time zone.
I'm not qualified biologically to answer that question.
Good point. Good point.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah. EST. I'm actually 2 hours behind EST. So in a very real way, the people on the East Coast are living in the future compared to me, also. So, but only by 2 hours.
Come join us in the future, my son. Come.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So anyway, I want to go back to Alita, because we were just talking about that, and I think you remember this, from some of our other streams. We talked about Alita's capability, having that berserker or the Imaginos body really gives her tremendous abilities. She has that rapid healing factor, and in her Imaginos body, she can move at speeds approaching light. Even in her berserker body, she can run at speeds over 100 miles an hour. So, or at least I established that some time ago. And we did talk a little bit about that longevity thing, about how that time stasis field kind of protected her when she was in the scrapyard. And of course, the nanotech that she has also even protects her biological part of her body or of her being. So, she's got two things going for her there on that. Of course, she's 300 years old or more. And, being able to manipulate plasma and just being an artist, not an artisan, a warrior, a Panzerkunst warrior, kind of puts her on a level way above humans, I think. Oh,
for sure. One thing interesting that I saw the other day, because my son watches this show called Hey You, What If? Okay. And they were basically saying that a human being only has to run as fast as a cheetah, which is 110 kilometers an hour, and you actually run on water because the surface of the water doesn't have time to break and let you fall.
Yeah.
Because your foot's not on it long enough. So you could actually run across the surface of water if you can run 110 kilometers an hour. So theoretically, if Alita can put on just a little burst of speed beyond that 100 kilometers an hour, or if she's running 100 miles an hour, then she certainly can run on water.
Yeah,
I don't know. Did you say 100 miles an hour or kilometers?
No, well, I calculated in that one video I did, I put on my page when she was fighting those Centurions, I was able to calculate or estimate, based on calculation, or rather calculate based on estimations that she was running at, or at least the average speed she was running while she was, kind of chopping up those Centurions was 125 miles an hour. Now, I have no clue how fast she can run in a straight line without turning and jumping and stuff like that. It could be she could run 200 miles an hour. I have no clue, in her berserker body. So, well,
I reckon that berserker body could run across water then.
Maybe so. Yeah, I was also in that video, I think it says it established that, cheetahs can run anywhere from 50 to 80 miles an hour, which is about 110 kilometers an hour, at the upper end. And Alita can run 50% faster than a cheetah. So, at least on that very, how would you say, conservative estimate, based on her running around chopping up the Centurions, So, but that's, like I say, can't tell how fast she can run in a pure straight line, because they didn't give me enough to go by, to try to calculate that, So, But anyway, certainly her being a total replacement cyborg, the only organic part of her or biological parts are brain. I don't know about her skin and her hair. I don't know, Maxie, about that one. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I haven't read anything definitive. It depends what universe you're sort of reading, whether it's the movie or the manga. But they obviously didn't have time to say anything about it in the OVA. In the novelization of the movie, Pat actually says something about Alita wondering if she could grow her hair out. So
like Koyomi, right? Yeah.
So it's likely that it does grow. I mean, if she's eating, she's and she's got a cybernetic stomach. She's pulling nutrients out of the food, and that's being used to feed her brain. But there's no reason why it couldn't also be used to feed. It may not be, like transplanted hair, but it could well be like some sort of, I know that they were using artificial skin because it's mentioned in the prequel novel. But it's never actually mentioned whether it's synthetic or whether it's a biological construct. So, I mean, if it's a biological construct, you could theoretically have everything that a normal skin has, sweat glands. I mean, we've seen Alita sweating in the TubeBuddy. So that was called a soft cybernetic body, which means that it's got biological parts to it. So I could surmise that there's quite a possibility that her hair is, actual hair, keeps growing and stuff. There's no reason why it couldn't. It just depends on how in universe it's supposedly made up.
Yeah, exactly. I think even if her hair and her skin, you can see in the movie anyway, her skin, it looks to me to be artificial because you could see how it was wrapped around her skull, and she had that titanium nanotube or special constructed metallic-like skull. You could see part of it. So and I of course I just assumed that her skin was artificial. But here's the thing. I think we established this on some of the Radio Chaos streams, is that we're looking at it from the perspective of the 21st century, and they're in the 26th century. There is no telling what the qualities of her skin and her hair, for that matter, what they are. I mean, maybe they're synthetic to a way, but they may be actually living tissue because they've been able to create that, and you get that idea that they may do that because, I think Jupiter, or was it Venus or Jupiter, that is the genome capital. I can't remember which. I think it might be Venus, but
it is Venus.
Yeah, and Jupiter is the cybernetic capital. So anyway, but there's just no telling, in that, granted this is, certainly movie and novel stuff, but what they were able to do on, in those floating cities on Venus, that they were able to create. Maybe they could create hair and skin that was synthetic, but it's still like alive, like real skin and real hair, so you just don't know, I didn't see anything in the manga that would suggest, that would, clarify that. Maybe there is, and I can't remember it, but. Okay. Well, anyway, that's pretty much it for Alita, I think. But then we just started on Android 18, and really it's kind of funny because I sent Den a link, and I forgot to put this on his web page. I mean, on his YouTube page. But I said, you better come on here and defend your girl, But trying to draw him out. But I guess he didn't see it, So
yeah.
But anyway, Android 18, has certainly got superhuman strength and durability, a lot like Alita in a lot of ways. Now, her speed, I'm not sure. See, I don't know enough about her. I did some research on her, but I'm not a Dragon Ball fan, But I don't know if she can move at relativistic speeds or not. I couldn't see anything that would address that. I don't know if you know anything about that or not, because
I'm not the Dragon Ball guy.
Yeah.
That was Denny Boy. He should really be here.
He would be able to really clue us in on that. But anyway, she also has really fast reflexes and stamina, and she's super powerful. But I do know this about her, is that she actually broke Vegeta's leg in a fight with him, and he's a Saiyan, you know. So I mean, so she's pretty powerful, you know, as a character. And,
well, Den always said that Alita might be able to move faster than her, but if Android 18 connects, it's all over.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think her strength is like Super Saiyan level, you know, so which would be more than Alita even in her Imaginos body. So, but you know, she knocked the crap out of Goku one time too, punched him, you know, and knocked the crap out of him, you know. And
did she punch him through a mountain?
Something like that, yeah. So anyway, she's pretty potent, you know, in terms of power, you know. So, you know, I mean, it's like, I think our buddy Den would have said, you know, that, you know, if she did connect with a punch or a kick, it's going to be over, you know, that kind of thing, you know. Another thing I was able to establish, though, just doing the research, is she does have she taps into an infinite supply of energy. Now, I don't know where that comes from, you know, but, you know, that would suggest that would kind of play into her stamina too, you know, that she can just keep going and going and going without getting tired, you know. She's water resistant. So in other words, I guess underwater, I guess it's tough to drown her. So I guess, you know, it's not like, you know, there's that one scene where Alita jumps in the lake, you know, to try to get into the ship. She has to hold her breath, you know. Well, it strikes me, now I don't know for sure, but it strikes me that Android 18 wouldn't have to do that, you know. So she would maybe not breathe water, but she wouldn't need to worry about water getting into her and drowning her, you know. She's a super great melee fighter. So, you know, the fact that she can, you know, break Vegeta's leg and, you know, like you say, knock Goku through a mountain, you know, that she's got what it takes in terms of fighting talent, you know. But there was one thing I did see in my research of her, is that she's really not an android. She's a cyborg, and because she has she's part human, or probably might even be mostly human. I wasn't able to establish that, but she has a human basis, is what I read. So, you know, she's a pretty interesting character. And there was another case, I guess. Now, this was a fan video I saw, and I think Den played this on his stream, where she fought Captain Marvel, you know, and she actually beat Captain Marvel. Now that's a fan thing. Could have been a Dragon Ball person, you know, that didn't like Captain Marvel and wanted Android AT to beat her or something like that. Who knows, you know. But the fact that, you know, that she has these capabilities and he could put that into a video kind of says it. Android 18 would, if she was a real person or a real being, and you were up against her, she would be a force to be reckoned with right there. She would be very, very tough to beat, I think. Certainly no human could beat her, I don't think. I think at one point she was married to Krillin, wasn't she? I think I read that.
She's married. She ends up marrying Krillin, and they have a daughter.
Have a baby. Yeah, daughter. Yeah, that's right. So, you know, Dan always used to say she's a better waifu than Alita, because, you know, she has that motherly instinct and all that, you know. And of course, David and I, you know, we would always, you know, tell Dan, nope, Alita's the better waifu, you know. So, you know, it was fun on his stream teasing him about it, you know. But yeah, she's definitely somebody to contend with, I think. If you were to have to fight her, and if she was a real being, you would be up against it pretty bad, I think. I'm not sure any human wouldn't stand a chance against her, because I think I'm not sure, but I think in the beginning she did start a fight with Krillin or something like that, you know. And Krillin is a pretty powerful character himself, but he's a human, you know. Yeah. And she wasn't having any trouble with him. So anyway, she's pretty potent, I think. Any thoughts on her, Maxie?
Well, I didn't know that I was going to be trying to stand in for Den. I know very little about Android 18,
Yeah.
except that her name is a misnomer. So
Yeah, exactly.
apparently her original name was
Yeah.
where did I read it here? Oh, Lazuli.
Yeah, that's right. Something like that. Yeah.
Which you know, is far better than a misnomer like Android 18, but everybody knows her as that now. So
Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, I mean, I'm just skim reading the wiki, so I know next to nothing at this point.
Yeah, I don't either. So anyway, we can just move on. And then, of course, I think we've talked about this guy in the past too, Cyborg, the DCEU's kind of equivalent almost to Alita. You know, he has superhuman strength. Now, I don't think he has the strength. He might. There was no way to measure what his strength is. I mean, the only idea that you could even get from his strength at all is when he and Superman pulled those mother boxes apart. But you can't really tell if Superman was providing most of that strength, or he was, or my sense would be Superman would be, but who knows, So you just don't really get an idea.
Well, if you're on one side of a solid object and somebody else is on the other side, excuse me, you have to match their strength or they pull you over.
Well, that's true, but I think what they were doing was they were like pulling them apart, kind of parallel to themselves. They weren't like pulling against each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They had their hands in, they were pushing sideways. So, I'm not sure, you could tell how strong he was. Now, I would say that, that he would probably be pretty strong. I mean, even if he was only providing 1/10 the strength that Superman was providing, he would that'd still be pretty damn strong right there. That wouldn't be anything to laugh at.
Yeah.
Durability wise, of course, he's a cyborg himself. Now he's a total replacement cyborg too, but he's not as the percentage of his human part, I guess you could call it, is higher than Alita's, because one of his legs, he's still got one of his legs. I think his right leg is still encased in that armor, and his chest, and I think one of his arms, maybe that right arm, I'm not sure which. And then, of course, his head and his brain, that's all, that's still human, So he's probably like 50% human, or maybe 60. I wouldn't say 60, maybe 40 to 50% human, So, anything over 50%, you could say he'd be a total replacement cyborg, I guess. And he's, certainly durable being a cyborg, but, speed wise, not sure about that one. He's fast. Certainly he can fly, and he kind of moved pretty fast, when he was flying, but you don't get the sense that he can move at relativistic speeds. So I think there he would be, I think that's a quality that he lacks that Alita has. And he also has quick reflexes himself. I mean, when Steppenwolf tried to chop him with that axe he had when they were laying on the ground, he was able to get out of the way quick enough, even though that axe was coming down. That would take extremely fast reflexes to do that. And then, of course, being a cyborg, he's going to have that stamina and longevity thing going for him. Now, one thing we did kind of establish with Alita, that her ability to, heal or self-repair was on a subconscious level. In other words, when Grishka punctured her, with that grind cutter, she healed within seconds. But this guy can't do that. I mean, he can self-repair himself. He can do that. And I guess when Steppenwolf pulled him apart, pulled his leg off, basically, he was able to put his leg back on, but that's something he had to do with intent. In other words, his subconscious didn't do that, like Alita. Alita, that berserker body can heal itself automatically. It's got nanotech and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've seen Alita lose limbs on multiple occasions in the Imaginos body, and it doesn't just grow back on. You've got to actually have it repaired.
Yeah, in the Mars Chronicle, I was reading that she had lost an arm I don't know if it was fighting Erica or if it was fighting.
It was.
Yeah, it was Erica. That's right. And she lost an arm. And then I can't remember if it was Karula or it might have been Zazie asked her something about, or it could have been that queen. I can't remember her name. Asked her about her arm going back. She said, well, my self-healing power is down or something. It's going to take me a little while to grow my arm back. So, in that case, she didn't self-repair in seconds, But if a human being lost their arm, they're not going to grow a new one. They might get an artificial
disappointment.
Yeah, exactly. But they might, they might come up with being able to transplant an arm, maybe. Who knows? Or maybe give them a bionic arm. That could certainly be done. But yeah, it's not like Alita being able to just grow an arm. Kind of like when you some lizards, you can cut their tail off and their tail grows back, or something like this,
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess he also has the ability he can fly, certainly. I think we established that already, which is something Lita can't do. Although I would say running at the speed of light, I'm not sure if flying would be necessary because you'd only have to run for a very short period of time and you'd be in the air. So I'm not sure flying is all that important at that juncture, But he does have the ability to manipulate technology, which I think Alita can do also in her Imaginos body, but he can also, directly interface with any kind of device, machine, computer or something like that and control it. And then, of course, he can project holograms and that kind of thing. So, he's in a lot of ways, he's very similar to Alita, I think, that cannon. I'm not sure of what if that cannon shoots plasma or if it just shoots a high energy pulse or what it does. That's not established at least I didn't see it established in the DCEU or in the comic books. But once again, I haven't read a comic book in years, so.
Yeah, it's been a few years since I've read comic books. I've read a lot of mangas, but
yeah, I think I've read like 2 comic books in the past. Oh my God, probably 50 years, something like this. So I mean, it's and both of them were DC comic books. So I didn't read too many Marvel comic books after I, was no longer a teenager. So. Which I like to tell David, it's not all that long ago. Okay, so anyway.
One thing before you move from Cyborg, have you seen the Snyder Cut yet?
No, my brother is coming over. We're having a little birthday party for him. I might have to cut the stream off at about 5 today. But anyway, he's coming over. We're having a birthday party for him and all that. And we're going to watch the Snyder Cut. So,
all right.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
No, I was just thinking there might be some more information about Cyborg in that because it's, a lot longer than the original. And apparently there's this huge origin section of Cyborg in the Snyder Cut, which was not in the theatrical release. So you get a bit more information on there, but then converse to that, they've said that the Snyder Cut is in its own universe and isn't part of the DCEU as a whole. Yeah. So that may not be canon, the stuff that's in the Snyder Cut. Yeah,
for sure. As a matter of fact, I tell you, one of the comic books I did read, it was given to me by a friend about 3 years ago, I guess, and it came with a DVD in it. And I read the comic book and watched the DVD. There's some origin stuff about Cyborg and that, how he was an all-star football player, for Gotham University or something like that, and he was bound to get a scholarship to play pro and all that kind of stuff. And then he, of course, had a car accident, and then his father, converted him into a cyborg instead of letting him die, So that's what happened there in the comic book, and in the comic book and the DVD were a little bit different, of course. But he kind of did establish that same thing. He was a human. Then he got in a car wreck. His dad, turned him into a cyborg, and then and the rest is history, as they would say. So, yeah, we're looking forward to watching that Snyder cut. Almost as much I'm looking forward to it as I would be watching Alita, because I watched Alita night before last again. When I watched it on Saturday, I kind of had it on a smaller screen on my computer here, so I could kind of go back and forth between the Radio Chaos stream and so it wasn't a big enough picture for me. So I said, no, I got to watch it again now. So I watched it on Wednesday night.
And where's your shadow at? Where's that Angelus lad?
I bet he got like you. I bet he got caught up in the daylight savings time. Now I did tell him it was, and this might be my fault. I might have got it mixed up. I told him it was 8 a.m. AEST. So maybe he thought 9 a.m. or 7. Or I don't know. It could be 7 because he'd be on. But I mean, maybe I messed up by an hour. I don't know. So anyway.
Well, where he's at in Queensland, they don't have daylight savings time. So
yeah,
he's not going to get messed up on his end. He just might have misunderstood what was happening on yours.
Well, I think what may have happened is that for it right now, it's like it's 3:40. Okay, so I think he's 17 hours ahead of it, but now that ahead of us. But now that we're in daylight savings time, you might be, I bet I messed it up for him, because I think you're now 18. He's now 18 hours ahead of me, not 17. So I probably messed it up for him, Yeah. So the daylight saving time bit me, So
I've been trying to get a hold of him for days to sit down for 20 minutes and show him how to update the Radio Chaos show notes. And do you think I can get a hold of him? He's been out like every night.
Well, he's partying, I guess.
He is. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good, So, and I plan on doing some of that now that I've had my second COVID shot. So anyway,
it's on.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah, I think I messed it up for him. Actually, I think I gave him the wrong time. I bet he thought 8 a.m., but it's really 9 or something like that. And I kind of screwed him up on time, I think.
Dizzy says he's on the hunt.
Yeah, Dizzy, you can get your ass on this stream now if you want to.
Angelus is hunting a waifu.
Yeah, he is. He's hunting for waifus. Yeah, exactly. Okay, here's another one, Data. Now, we know him from Star Trek The Next Generation, of course. He does have superhuman strength. Now, I don't think it's anywhere near like what Alita has, even in her berserker body. He's probably like, who knows? I've only seen a couple of episodes where his strength really comes into play, where he picks up like a big, heavy rock. But I think Alita could have picked up that same rock in one episode. I can't remember what it was. It was a big stone he picked up and he kind of moved it. I think Alita could have done that very easily, even in her berserker body, But certainly the way that stone looked, it looked like it weighed about 600 pounds, and he was able to pick it up and move it, So who knows how much it weighed, though? You don't know the composition of the rock and all that. If it's basalt, it's going to be one weight, and if it's granite, it's going to be another weight. So you just don't know, But anyway,
styrofoam.
Yeah, it could be a styrofoam. Yeah, exactly. So, but he's also very durable. He's certainly that, and he's got quick reflexes and stamina. Oh, there's Dizzy. G'day, mate.
What's going on?
You.
Dizzy.
Yeah.
I had a bit of a rough night, Dizzy.
Don't tell us your personal problems, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
I was talking about my avatar.
Right.
My eyeballs are sticking out.
Yeah.
So anyway, getting back to Data, he's, certainly he has artificial intelligence. I don't know if that's superior to humans or not, but it's certainly different.
He's certainly got faster processing speed.
Yeah, he does. For sure.
Information.
Yep, trillions.
You know, he reminds me of the dude from the Alien Covenant and that. David.
Yeah, he does.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Well,
he
probably
does.
not exactly, but similar, yeah.
Yeah. Self-repair, yes, not automatic though. He has to be. Jordy, I think, repairs him a lot, or works on him and stuff like that. Certainly very good with technology. I think even to a degree of being able to hook into it, but although it takes a little bit of a, hooking one port into another type thing, not like Cyborg does it. And certainly he is a Starfleet officer, and some would say he's even a sentient life form,
Well, yeah, he's the first one on this list who's an artificial life form. He's not a cyborg. So.
Yeah, exactly. But he is an android. So,
Yes.
there it is. So, I think if Alita was to fight him, it wouldn't last very long. It'd probably.
No, I think everybody else on this list would make mincemeat of him.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he'd be in big trouble if he had to fight any of them. Well, I don't know. It depends on that first Terminator, cyborg, which I think is actually closer to an android. But I think he might be able to handle that because he's going to be smarter, than. But who knows?
You talk him to death, mate.
Maybe.
Yeah. Blah blah. He loves to have a chat. This guy.
Science him to death.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I would have liked to have seen, just extrapolating, is if Data survived long enough to get into the future where Star Trek Discovery is at the moment, where they've got programmable matter. Because if you could replace his body with programmable matter, then that would change things.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Now, I've never seen Star Trek Discovery, but I've read a little bit about it. Is it in the 25th century or the 26th century? I know the Next Generation is the 24th century, I think.
Yeah, Next Gen's 24th, but I think Discovery's in the 29th at the moment.
29th. Okay, so they're going to be.
Yeah, they jumped way ahead. They well, I don't want to spoil, but basically they had a reason to move the ship forward in time.
Wow.
So they ended up in the future.
Discovery is saying it takes place in 2255, a decade before the events of the original series.
Oh, really?
That's when it starts.
Yeah.
It's moved forward. They had to jump forward in time.
Yeah. What are we up to now? Season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Well, I know there's another version of Data on that very last episode they did with Jean-Luc Picard and, Jonathan Frakes and these people. Yeah, there was an android there called Beta, and he was like Data, except he wasn't as advanced and all that stuff. So
his name's B4.
Yeah, B4.
He came before Data.
Yeah, that's right. So
and there was also Law.
To do what now?
That was his daughter that he made.
No.
That was Lao.
Law is his evil twin.
Yeah, Laura's his evil twin, but Beta was. I'm not sure how I can't remember the movie. It's been so long since I've seen it, But he's like Data. He looks exactly like Data, except he's not as advanced or something, And that's about all I know about him. Because Data gets killed, he blows that ship up, with him on it, So he, I guess he got obliterated with the ship, So I think that's when they had that when the Enterprise fought that guy that was a clone of Captain Picard or something like that. I can't remember exactly. So
there's actually rumblings about rebooting Next Generation and having that guy play a younger Picard.
Oh, well, that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. They do all sorts of recasting or reboot casting videos on YouTube. You can find them for lots of different things.
Oh.
There's a in Star Trek Picard. There's another cyborg, that Soji.
Oh yes.
Soji, I'm not familiar with that one. I don't remember anyway.
Yeah,
I
I think
know.
that's what I was talking about when it was supposed to be old mate's daughter, twins. There's two
Oh,
of them,
okay.
and I think they're the last advanced ones. And yeah, Picard has to go and save them or something in that.
Ah,
You think they're the last ones, but they're not.
yeah. If they need a new one, they'll write them in.
Pretty much.
Okay, this guy.
Seems familiar.
Yeah, it does. Certainly.
I guess he'll be back.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah. So anyway, he's been back several times actually. He's got superhuman strength for sure. I don't think his strength is as great as Alita's, but it's certainly stronger than the humans. He's got senses, but it's all electronic, of course, and he can keep going and going. Terminators, I think it was one of the things that Kyle Reese said, played by Michael Biehn, that they absolutely will not stop until you're dead, and which kind of tells me they also have the stamina to keep that up, So microprocessor controlled, he can repair himself, but like Cyborg, it's not automatic. He has to. Oh, there's our guy right there. And Angelus, I think I messed up on the time for you.
Yes, you did.
I forgot about daylight saving time. So, but anyway, yeah, I think we've gone over Alita, Android 18, and Data, I guess, is the only 3 we've hit so far. So
we're going up against robots now too?
Well, no, I think this guy, at least from the movie, they claim he's a cyborg because he's living tissue over a hyperalloy endoskeleton. Now, it's like I was saying a little while ago, I think he's closer to an android than a cyborg, or a robot, But in the definition of a cyborg is a combination of living tissue and machine. So I guess in a way, he's maybe a cyborg. I don't know, So. But anyway, he's very tough. He was able to. I think Kyle Reese was able to pound him with a 3/4 inch steel pipe. He hit him several times with it and didn't do anything to him. Except maybe just distract him for a little bit, and then of course he kind of knocked Kyle Reese off. Knocked him away, and. Certainly, his brain, of course, is a computer. It's not a brain like Alita's. So him being a cyborg, in my view, is kind of iffy. The only thing that even comes close to that is his skin. So everything.
Well, they're saying that's living tissue over an endoskeleton.
Yeah, and that's I think Kyle Reese in the movie. Terminator 1, I think that's what he described him as, that the skin is grown for the cyborgs. Now, I think he comes out, I think the time frame of this is like in Los Angeles 2029 or something like that. So, hey, only 8 years away. So anyway. Any thoughts about this guy? Another James Cameron creation, which is cool.
I was just thinking, what was it? I'm trying to think of the timeline here. Is Alita still human if she's got the biochip?
Well, Alita doesn't. Well, I don't want to spoil the manga, I guess, but Alita doesn't get the bio. Yeah, that's all right. AR1, I guess, is the one that gets the biochip, right? Alita, the other Alita, I guess. Let me say it that way. The other Alita gets the biochip. The human Alita that was put in that organic printer or something, whatever that was, she came out totally human. That's the Alita before she was blown to bits, by that baby bomb or something. I don't know if that's my understanding of it anyway. I've only read the manga once, and that's my memory of it, though. Is that your sense of it? Any of you three? Is that? Yeah,
sorry, I wasn't listening.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Typical.
I was reading up about the Rev 9 Terminator from Dark Fate. It was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, well, God, I didn't put him in here because
You know how you go on those bloody. I'm looking at this now. I'm going to look at this and end up in some dark part of the internet somewhere.
Yeah, the dark web. Yeah.
So saying that this dude has the ability to separate the outer sort of stuff as you saw in the movie from the endoskeleton to make two of him, which is pretty cool.
Damn. Well, there's that one that John Connor cyborg too. I guess that was from Terminator Genesis. I guess I think he was a T900, wasn't he, or something like that? I think I didn't put all of them in here. You know, I just put in a few of them. So I think Alita would take this guy here pretty easy, though. I mean, even in her berserker body. I mean, probably.
I reckon her flames would just melt him because this guy doesn't like lava, as we've seen.
Exactly. Yeah. 'Cause when he went down in that cauldron, man, he melted.
Oh,
so that plasma is going to play hell with him. Now, I think she would even beat him in her doll body because, you know, her fighting skill is going to be better. Now, he's going to be tougher, you know. But the fact that
I don't know. Who do you reckon would win out of the T800 and Garishka with his claws?
That's the question, you know.
Because Alita smashed him. Well,
yeah.
Later on when she got her bloody other body, not the doll body.
Well, she did cleave his arm off, you know, and hit him with that rocket hammer, you know, which cracks several of his innards, you know. So he had enough of that, you know. And then, of course, in the second fight, he chopped her to bits, but she still got a shot on him. So
yeah. So
exactly.
I reckon she'd clean him up.
Yeah, I think she could probably take him even in the doll body, just because she, you know, is fat. Not fat. She's faster, maybe, because this guy here is, you know, a human can outrun this guy.
I reckon she could take him pre-body, just garbage dump Alita.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but certainly in her berserker body, and definitely in her Imaginos body, this ain't going to be a fight. This is going to be over within 5 seconds, you know. So it was interesting, though, in the movie how they had his hand in the scrapyard, wasn't it? That was kind of cool. You know, at first time I ever saw the movie, I thought that. I said, "Oh, that looks like the Terminator's hand." So, of course, at that point, I guess the Terminator would have been like that hand was 500 years old, I guess, wasn't it? So,
yeah.
Yeah, Alita would just dance circles around him.
now here's a tough customer right here. Certainly, he has superhuman strength, even though he's not as big as the Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator. You know, he's, you know, according to the research I did and you know, watching him on the movie, he had equal strength at least to that T800. You know, and certainly a lot of his senses and all are similar. But he's liquid metal, so I mean, he can morph. You know, he's almost like a shapeshifter. You know, I mean, well, he is a shapeshifter, but he's a machine. You know, so he can assume, you know, any kind of human form or that kind of thing, or he can, you know, kind of liquefy himself and go through solid objects, you know, that kind of stuff. So he's pretty tough. You know, he's like, say, impervious to injury. Now, the one thing that's going to get him is that when he went down in that cauldron, he kind of melted himself. So I think Alita would have a tougher time with this guy, but I think she would beat him because of that plasma. You know, she'd melt him, you know, but he would be tough, I think. But he is definitely an android. There's no part of him that's human, you know, so he's, you know, he doesn't have any kind of human basis behind him. And he is a machine, basically, of liquid metal. Thoughts?
Oh, I just did my
I reckon his self-repairing or recovering abilities would be too slow. It seems like if Old Love just separated him and put him in a heap of different boxes all around the place that he wouldn't be able to come back together.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, if he gets in contact, like there was that one scene where a piece of him came off, was on the road, and he stepped near it, and that thing, kind of morphed back into him. So he does have a somewhat semi-automatic or automatic ability to heal, or recompose himself or something. But certainly not like Alita is, I think, in her Imaginos body. Another thing to think about here, too, about the T800, the T1000, and the TX we're going to talk about, is this is technology that's probably, 400 or 500 years behind Alita. Nothing about this guy suggests that he's nanotech.
I reckon a couple of swings of the old Damascus blade, mate, would just, turn him into dog meat.
Yeah, probably so.
Just crunchy dog meat.
Well, even if he liquefied himself, all she'd have to do is keep those parts, keep the parts that were cut up apart, where they can't get back together, and he's done, So,
well, he can obviously survive the heat of a fire, but I'm sure that the temperature at which plasma exists would probably mess him up.
Yeah. Well, I think he's probably fire resistant, but it's like when he went down in that, in that vat, of lava or whatever it was, that liquid metal that was, superheated. He didn't last, so he's not totally immune to that kind of, to heat or anything like that. I mean, I think he can be melted because he was definitely melted. But, you see him there in that one graphic, he is able to withstand fire, at least to some degree. So he's, that part of him is pretty tough, I think.
Dropping them both into what I call a vacuum is just a leader being able to survive long enough to figure out which she would. I mean, she's not done either.
Yeah.
And she the battle would be won the moment that she did.
Yeah. Now this guy can run fast. I mean, he was able to keep up with that car for a while. I don't get the sense that he can run over 100 miles an hour. I don't get that. He might be able to run 50 or 60 miles an hour, something like that. So even in her berserker body, Alita's going to have a speed advantage on him. Reflexes wise, maybe they might be similar. I'm not sure about that. There was no way of telling, about that. But, I think that, I think speed wise, I think she's going to have him on that one. So she's going to have that plasma weapon on him, and she's going to have speed. And certainly in our Imaginos body, this fight's going to be over in like 3 seconds. I mean, she's going to obliterate him, and it's going to be over with, So.
But just out of the facts here, I'm reading it saying that the T600 has a speed of 22 miles per hour, and the T800 has 20% higher than that. So I'm assuming old mate is a little bit higher than that. Yeah.
So those two are a lot slower, I guess, than and this guy, and even the TX is going to be slower, I think. So yeah, they're not going to be able to keep up with her, I think, on speed. Maybe on stamina they will be, but she's going to be so fast that she's going to inflict so much damage on them. Even if they can withstand several attacks, she's still going to get them because they're not going to be able to hit her, and she's going to be hitting them. So, I think and plus she's going to be hitting them with that plasma weapon. So it's not going to bode well for these guys, I think. Okay, this one. This one here is even tougher, I think. Stronger than either Arnold Schwarzenegger or the other guy, Patrick. I can't remember his last name. Their versions of Terminators. Same kind of senses. She does have a plasma cannon. So I don't know if she can control it like Alita. I think she can just shoot plasma. But she's not as fast as Alita. And Alita has fast reflexes, so unless Alita didn't see it coming, she'd be able to get out of the way, So I think that would be going against her. The speed would. That nanotech transjector, what that thing is her ability to control other machines. So she can interface with them and control them. So that's kind of similar to what Cyborg can do. She is a kind of a solid, she's a robot, or not a robot, but an android herself. And you can see in that one graphic on the upper right there that she's, kind of looks like a machine there, but her outside, her shell is going to be liquid metal, probably similar to the T-1000. She definitely can self-repair, and in her case, it's automatic. So it's kind of like Alita's ability to self-repair, and certainly being malleable, is part of that. And she has a higher or a better technology in terms of what she's built out of. So I think she's probably, I think it's like you were saying, Dizzy, this one here is probably like 20% or 30% better than the T-1000, maybe. I don't know, but
how do you reckon she'd go against a few of those collapsor rounds?
I don't think she would work. She would do very well against those because that collapsor round would pretty much take care of any android, I think, or cyborg for that matter, because that collapsor round did a number on, Zapan.
I'm not sure about that actually, because collapsor rounds are specifically designed to take down the berserker cells, which is what the berserker body's made of.
I guess that's right. Yeah,
it's very specific. None of these android terminators are made berserker cells, so it may not do anything.
Well, the function of the collapsor round may not, but if she shot this person with that, it'd still damage them. Like a bullet. It'd still probably damage them at some level. But yeah, I guess I agree with you. I don't think, I get those berserker cells. Are they like nanites or what are they? I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I
nanomaterial.
Yeah, I haven't heard a specific description. It may be sort of a construct of nanites. So the nanites come together and make units called berserker cells. But okay. I don't know. That it's never actually been explained, the finer workings.
Yeah. I guess it would depend on what the collapsor round attacked. If it was directly attacking the nanites, then it might have that same effect on this, but we just don't know. There's no way of telling. So, and they're in different universes, so really.
So essentially, the collapsor rounds will be useless against the doll body, etc.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess that's right. But the doll body doesn't have any. Well, yeah. I guess it does have some nanites in the blood anyway, in the cyber blood, doesn't it? So, were you going to say something, Angelus?
No, just pretty much the same thing, because because we don't know much about it. If it doesn't attack the nanos directly, it'll probably attack its ability to function, which would then, if anything, stop her from forming weapons.
Okay. Yeah.
With the various parts of her body. And perhaps in a sense, it might even stop the standard T-1000 to morph, I guess.
Possibly, yeah. Well, one thing that the T-1000 and TX, they do have in common is they can form edged weapons. And I guess they do that with nanites too, or that liquid metal, working with the nanites. So, yeah, I guess that might have an effect on them, but certainly we can't tell just from the movies. Yeah, this character was pretty tough. I think I remember seeing that. She's also kind of cute too. So anyway, but I wouldn't say I wouldn't say she's a waifu in any universe.
Yeah, she'd lose hands down to Uwu Wars.
Oh yeah. Well, she is cute though. There's no doubt about that. So I can't remember who that actress was. I have to look it up on IMDb to see.
Kristana Loken.
What was that, Angelus?
Were you looking up the actress's name?
No, I'm gonna do that later. I'm not worried about it right now. Okay, here's one that would definitely be tough. I think would be Vision. He has all those attributes, of strength and speed, power. I don't know if he can move the speed of light though. I've never seen that established in any of the MCU movies that he's in. He can fly certainly, so and he is pretty fast. I think I have seen him fight against like they're in. I don't know if anybody's seen all the WandaVision that I would suggest you watch it. The series, and not to give it away too much, but he did fight a kind of a replicant of himself. That was an android, and it's pretty tough to say who would have won that fight. I got the sense that the other android was winning, but there was no way of knowing because they never finished it. They started talking to each other before that happened. But, certainly he has that kind of that artificial intelligence himself. And he's got the Mind Stone. So that's going to be a tough thing right there to overcome, I think. He can shoot energy beams from it and that kind of thing, which is pretty powerful. And the fact that he can fly is going to make it tough, for an opponent to beat him. Now, that said, we saw two pretty, I wouldn't call them, human level, or even sub or even superhuman level adversaries in that Infinity War. But, he was damaged, quite badly by that one guy that looks like an elf. I can't remember his name now, but he stabbed him with whatever that weapon was, and, was able to injure him pretty badly where he couldn't morph, into anything else. So it kind of stopped some of his functioning. So I get the sense that Alita would have been much stronger than that alien that injured him. So I'm not sure about how that would play out. Now that thing is called technopathy right there. That's another term that they use in Marvel, I guess, but it's kind of similar to what Cyborg and that Terminator TX can do, where they can control they can control technology, I think in his case, it's almost like mental telepathy, except it's with technology, so, but I didn't see anything. I didn't see any more specific discussion or information than that. He can regenerate, but I think we saw in the movie that it's his ability to regenerate is not quite what Alita's is, or say that TX-1000. He doesn't have. He can be injured where he cannot regenerate very well, but he can regenerate to some degree. He's probably better than a human than doing that, but he's not as good as Alita. He's not going to regenerate because, for instance, when that alien stabbed him, when those two aliens attacked, it's, I think, Proxima Midnight, and I can't remember the name of the elf-looking guy, but when they attacked him from the Black Order, this guy stabbed him, and of course it put a permanent hole in him. But we saw when Grishka stabbed her rather, she healed within like 2 or 3 seconds, and he wasn't able to heal fast like that. He was still injured. So I think that would be something going against him. He can kind of use holograms similar to what Cyborg can, except he can use that to disguise himself. Certainly he can fly, and he is an android. He's not, there's no part of him that's human. Now, he can make himself look human, but he's not a human. He's a machine. Probably a sentient machine, but he's still a machine. Any thoughts on this guy, you all?
Creaky, have you seen WandaVision?
Yes.
So obviously there's like Hex Vision and there's White Vision.
Yes.
And it's all getting a little bit complicated.
Yeah. Well, I won't give it away. He was fighting White Vision, I think, at the end, but I'm not going to say any more about that. But that was
So the Vision, the versions of the Vision also have a beam that they can fire out of their forehead.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Some
Well,
sort of
with
energy.
Vision himself, with the original Vision, that beam comes out of the Mind Stone. So, because there was that scene in Ultron, the Age of Ultron, which I had a friend tell me the Age of Ultron only lasted 3 days. So it's how can you call that an age? I guess. But anyway, yeah.
Well, the internet age is about 3 days. So.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But they, when Thor and Iron Man and Captain America were walking down the corridor, and Thor said that the Mind Stone was safe with the Vision, so he does have that Mind Stone, and it gives him power, it does. So I know Thanos was able to. Now he was injured when Thanos got a hold of him. If he hadn't been injured, that might have been a different story. But I think in her Imaginos body, I think Alita would destroy Thanos unless he had, maybe didn't have the Time Stone or the Space Stone or all the stones. If he only had like the Power Stone, let's say, and the Mind Stone, let's say, or he only had one stone, I think Alita would take care of Thanos within 10 seconds. She'd chop him in half and it'd be over with. It's kind of like our buddy John Hoot said, she's not going to mess around with this guy. She's going to kill him the first time. She's not going to have some kind of corny diatribe with this guy. She's going to kill him the first time she gets a chance, so.
Yeah, she doesn't fuck around.
Yeah, now she did talk to Grishka at the end there, but that's because she knew that Nova was in him and she was talking to Nova is what she was doing, But usually she's not going to do that. She's not going to talk. She's going to do it. She's going to take action, not talk. So, which is one reason I like her as a character. So, any other thoughts about this guy? He's an Avenger, that's for sure.
Alita's Damascus blade would be absolutely useless against him.
Why is that, Dizzy?
Because his body is made of vibranium and it absorbs energy, and plasma and the metals that are made of it can't cut it.
That's interesting, but there was one scene there in Endgame where Thanos was chopping away at Captain America, and he actually damaged that shield of his. I mean, he chopped it up pretty good, and it's made of vibranium. So I don't know. That's kind of an unknown. Well, I think
vibranium is the strongest metal on Earth, but Thanos didn't come from Earth, so who knows what else is out there.
You don't know what. That's right. You don't know what his sword was made of. Who knows? As a matter of fact, I saw there was a video, and I can't recall. I didn't watch the whole thing, but they were asking which is a stronger metal, adamantium or vibranium.
Well, that's what I was just looking up, and they were saying that adamantium is most likely the only thing that can cut it.
Oh, the only thing can cut vibranium?
It's saying this means, given the right circumstances, that metal can potentially cut through pure vibranium.
So Avon's saying that the sword that Thanos was wielding is made of uru, which is the same stuff that Thor's hammer's made out of.
Oh, out of that heart of the star or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically God tier weaponry.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I still think, though, we don't know if that plasma weapon, particularly with the Damascus blade, would have any effect on him. You might be right about that, Dizzy, but I don't know if there's any. I don't know if we can say for certain. You're probably right, though. It probably wouldn't have an effect on him. But the fact that one alien was able to stab him and injure him, and who knows what his weapon was made out of, tells me that, Alita's, Damascus blade is an advanced weapon itself. So we just don't know, I think. Any more thoughts about him?
Even vibranium has to abide by the laws of physics or science.
Yeah.
And it might be able to absorb. I don't think it absorbs energy. Would you say it absorbs energy or something like that?
Yeah, it does absorb energy.
Like, yeah, it absorbs energy.
Yeah.
So old mate's whole body is made of it. So you
Yeah.
know, every time someone gives him a nice kickbox to the head, he just absorbs it.
Yeah. And you know, there was that one scene in Avengers when Iron Man was fighting Thor and Captain America happened on the scene, you know, and he tells Thor to put that hammer down. And Thor says, "So you want me to put the hammer down?" You know, so Thor leaps at him and then drives that hammer at him, and Captain America protects himself with his shield and knocks Thor backwards. So you might be right, Dizzy. That vibranium, it's probably not indestructible as we saw when he fought Thanos, but it's pretty damn tough. So yeah, I don't know. You know, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just doing a bit of reading, and they're saying that like not even a lightsaber would be able to get cut through vibranium because the laser wouldn't be hot enough. Well, they're saying lasers aren't hot enough to cut through a 20-inch hardened steel bolt.
Yeah.
So what, you know, it'd be like the melting point and all that shit.
Yeah, I guess so. And I guess that one weapon that alien had that he stabbed him with in Infinity War did have kind of an energy beam kind of quality to it too. Didn't just don't know what it was made out of because it definitely injured him. You know, I mean that's for sure. But who knows what that thing was made out of either. So I think I might agree with you on this, Dizzy. I think maybe that his body is going to be. I don't know if it's impervious to that Damascus blade, but it's going to be tough. You know, it's going to be resistant at the very least, I think.
Well, it's going to be tough trying to get the blade near him anyway.
Well, that's true, you know. But I see another thing about him. You know, he can fly, so it's going to be tough to get for Alita to get that blade on him if he can fly. But if she surprises him somehow, he's on the ground. You know, I don't get the sense that he can move near the speed of light like she can in the Imaginos body. In the Berserker body, I don't know if she can even get close to him. So, you know, he's
all right. I would think that. Also, are we taking into account the fact that manga Berserker, not necessarily manga Alita,
okay.
but manga Berserker can also technically fly?
I don't know. I don't remember seeing that in the manga.
I heard only if Alita wears a cape that she can do that.
or she had those wings, I guess. She had those wings at the end, you know, there, or not to mess up the manga too much, but or the last
Japan did.
Yeah.
What, does Japan fly?
Yeah.
Flew? Yeah, well, that's because didn't his body take on his mind, and his mind was like some warped up monster?
Pretty much, yeah.
So then
So basically, what happened was the Berserker body has a mode where it just goes spastic, which is normally held under a locking mechanism, so it can't happen. But Professor Nova released the locking mechanism to see what would happen, and that's when Berserker Pan was born, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like a super mutation of the Berserker body. The Berserker cells just go spastic, and basically it was supposed to be a weapon of terror. You'd send in the Berserkers into a population and then activate this thing, and they'd basically rip the joint apart.
Yeah.
Terrorize the populace. It was banned by a later treaty, but yeah.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to address here is that Avon said he might have missed in the manga. Did Alita really run near the speed of light? And there was that one stream. It was in the manga. I can't remember if it wasn't in the manga. I think it might have been in the Last Order, but I can't remember which one now because I haven't read either one of them in for a while. But anyway, there was that, we talked about this on Den's stream once, that, you know, there was a scene in the manga where she was running and things behind her were red shifted and things in front of her were blue shifted. And you can only do that if you're running at relativistic speeds. So in our discussion, we figured she had to be running at least 10% the speed of light and maybe a lot faster, because they didn't tell you how much a shift there was, in the colors, red and blue shift. She might have been running 90% speed light. There was no way of knowing, but she did move in the manga at those speeds. And I can't recall what volume it was in. So I guess, Avon, you're going to have to kind of look that up, I guess. So
I actually think it was in the retroed last volume of the original series.
Okay, yeah.
Imaginos 1.0.
Yeah, Imaginos 1.0, yeah. And I also know that now Alita had wings for a brief period of time in the Last Order. So she also had a tail, which I thought was pretty cool. But anyway, she lost those wings pretty fast, though, didn't she? And I don't know if she used it to fly or anything like that.
I think they were made of Damascus blades, the wings.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And she used them to attack
Toji.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, anyway, nothing too much more about Vision there. What about robots? We've been talking about androids, and we haven't even talked about all the different androids and cyborgs, but, robots, are really just pure machine. I think they're probably a step below androids, although they're probably a lot like androids, but there's three really famous ones there. That one on the left is called Gort. He was in the Day the Earth Stood Still in both the original and the reboot. And the thing about him was in the original movie, Michael Rennie played this extraterrestrial that came to Earth, and that kind of thing. But he says that this robot Gort actually had the power to destroy the Earth. So that's pretty potent right there, That robot in the center is from the original series of Lost in Space. There was another version of him in the movie, the one that Matt LeBlanc and I can't remember who some of the others. One of the others was a guy that played in some of the Marvel movies. I can't remember his name now. He played the captain of the ship or whatever. But anyway, this robot is not particularly strong. I think it's smart, that kind of thing, has artificial intelligence, but certainly not going to be a match for Alita. That one on the far right is one called Robbie, and he was from
Robbie.
Robbie the robot. That's right. He was actually in that old sci-fi classic that Leslie Nielsen was in. I can't remember the name of the thing now, but he was a creation of one of the scientists on this planet. And certainly he had no particular, extraordinary abilities. But he was also in an episode of the original series of Lost in Space. So, but he was, pretty much just a machine walking around. Neither one of these two robots on the right, or even the guy on the left, Gort, are not particularly fast. I think Gort is highly resistant to damage. I mean, he could be shot with all kinds of stuff and it just doesn't damage him. So I mean, I think in that regard, he would be tough for Alita to beat. I know, granted, that's an old robot there, I guess, from what came in from those 1950s movies, but he's pretty tough. The other two guys in the center and the right, Lee's going to take care of them with probably even in her doll body, she'd beat either one of those easily. The Berserker body would be even less, and the Imaginos body, certainly the fight would last about 2 seconds. So
I reckon doll body would make mincemeat out of all of Tony's Mark suits.
Yeah, you can make the case that Tony Stark himself, when he puts those suits on, he's a robot, or he's not a robot, but a cyborg. You could make the case for that. Hello, Radio Chaos.
Hello there. free.
Oh, you got a new mic. I love it.
It's still on the StreamYard version of just being the best with no mic at all, except for the iPad's internal mic.
Okay. Okay, well, welcome aboard anyway.
Thanks.
Yeah, Just a Fan says he thinks that Gort would have a very high probability of a chance of beating Alita. He's slow. He's not going to be able to. His speed is not going to be an issue for her. But I think he's pretty close to indestructible. So I think it's going to be. I mean, no matter what she does to him, he's going to resist it. So and he's got some kind of super high energy beam that he can shoot from his eyes. That will like the character Michael Rennie played. He played that character named Klaatu, I guess, and I guess Keanu Reeves played him later too. Said he could destroy the Earth. He's that powerful. So, I think that'd be tough for Alita to beat anybody. So,
have you guys talked about Unicron yet?
No, I don't have all of them in here, Radio Chaos, but by all means, tell us about it.
Unicron is the god of chaos and Transformers. He just eats planets up.
He's kind of like Galactus then, isn't he?
No, well, Galactus just takes the energy of life. Unicron just eats the planet. Like he would go up to planet Earth and just chew it up. If he got to do that.
Is he a robot or an android?
Yeah, well, he's just like the other Transformers, basically, except he mostly travels around this giant spherical planet form, but he can unfold into a humanoid-looking form. But basically, the origin of the Transformers universe is that it started with Primus, which is how you got the planet Cybertron.
Yeah.
There's Unicron, who's the opposite of Primus.
Whoa.
And Unicron is just, his whole purpose is to consume the universe, pretty much.
Well, if he consumes the universe, what's he going to eat after that?
Well, basically, the bigger he gets, the more he can eat. Like, if he gets big enough, he can start eating stars and black holes, too. Yeah,
but like say, if he eats everything, now what's he going to do? He's not going to have anything else to eat. So.
No, he'll run out.
He's going to be done after that. But he wouldn't be around to see it, I guess. Yeah, that's a good point for Chaos. That the Transformers, I don't have any of them in here. They're more like robots, I guess. Or some cross between androids and robots.
Well, they're kind of aliens. They're weird. But they were kind of an environmental message back in the 80s, considering they could just make their food called energon from electricity or fossil fuels. So that was kind of an environmental point in that series too.
Yeah, I guess you could classify those Transformers and those Decepticons as robots, I guess. But they're aliens, so it's kind of like Lee Lemon. Go ahead.
They're basically both.
Yeah, exactly.
Somewhat like living, because they process various materials into energon, which they eat, and they're kind of machines because that's what they disguise themselves as.
Yeah, that's right. They can actually, Transformers, their very name, they can transform themselves into other stuff like trucks and cars.
Well, it depends on their size. I mean, Optimus Prime cannot become much more than a big 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
But Soundwave, who's a Decepticon, can be smaller things like a cell phone or a tape or a cassette tape.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess in Bumblebee, he can become a really hot-looking car. So.
Yeah, a good yellow one too.
Yeah, I guess Lee Lemon had a good comment for them. They're sentient machines, actually. But they're kind of a cross between robots and androids. Yeah, Alita, I don't get the sense that the Decepticons or the Transformers can move near the speed of light. I don't get that sense.
Well, Unicron apparently seems to move faster because he goes light years in opposite.
Oh, that's right. I guess so. Yeah, I didn't know about him though. But I would say
he's in an 1986 Transformers movie, but he's shown up in multiple TV series ever since then.
Oh, okay. But I guess if you put Alita up against some, like Optimus Prime or that who's that lead Decepticon? I can't remember his name.
It's called Megatron.
Yeah, Megatron. That's right. You put her up against them, and if she's in even her berserker body, because the Panzer Kunz, is specifically designed for, berserkers to take down large opponents,
Right. But
Plus,
the thing
she's
about
got that.
Transformers is that they're mostly immune to regular human weapons. It takes Energon to usually kill them. Now, whether or not Plasma is Energon, which I think it would pretty much be just like Energon. I mean, Optimus Prime, or Megatron use Energon weapons, and it just seems about equivalent the way they do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she could probably beat Megatron or Optimus Prime or Bumblebee for that matter. Any of them. I think she could beat them just because she's probably faster than they are, and she definitely, has that. She definitely has that ability to self-heal really fast, and she's got that plasma weapon. So,
right.
Yeah, I think she'd probably handle them. I don't know if it'd be easy.
Right.
I mean, they're pretty tough cookies, those guys. So,
right.
Anyway, any more androids or cyborgs can you guys think of that we might have missed?
Have we already talked about X-Men Future Past, the adaptive
I've got
Sentinels?
one. Say again, Chaos?
The adaptive Sentinels from Days of Future Past. Like when you kill a Sentinel with a certain attack, and they imitate the powers of whomever they touch.
Yeah, that's true. But don't they imitate the powers based on the mutation of those, the mutants themselves to adapt? I mean,
well, the way it worked was that they got attacked by Sunfire's fire. One of them, a Sentinel, got killed by Sunfire, who shot really hot fire at him. Then the other Sentinels started using fire after Sunfire did that. Same thing with Iceman and Colossus.
Yeah.
In the future world, anyways.
Yeah.
Back in the past, it was like, we just have plastic robots that won't be affected by Magneto.
Yeah, she might have trouble with those guys.
Well, that'd be a problem because what if they imitate the berserker bodies and you've got however many Sentinels, hundreds, thousands?
Yeah. But can they imitate a berserker body? I thought they just could imitate the mutations.
Well, they imitated Colossus, the ability of Colossus to become metal. They imitated Iceman's ice powers. They imitated Sunfire's fire. I don't know. It's unknown what the maximum limit of what they can imitate.
Yeah, they don't establish that in the movie, do they? Yeah, exactly.
The only thing they had was that they would lose a Sentinel, but there's so many of them that the rest of the Sentinels just imitate how one of them got killed.
Yeah, you might be right about that, Chaos. She might have a lot of trouble with those because she might take down several of them, but they're going to get her eventually because there's so many of them. Yeah.
I'm coming.
Well, Angelus, you were going to say something, weren't you? That we missed one.
Berserker and above, I think she'd win hands down. But I'd be keen to hear what Dizzy would say about Kano versus Doll Body Alita.
What, from Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
Mate, that guy would be ended.
From Doll Body?
Yeah.
So you say Kano would beat Alita in the Doll Body?
No, he'd say that Kano would fold like a deck of cards.
Well, I don't know much about Mortal Kombat, so.
Well, Kano technically cyberized, but he's still more
Same
much
as
like
Jax.
Jack. But they're more flesh and cyborg in terms of ratio, anyway.
Yeah. So they're they're not a total replacement, but they're a partial replacement cyborg.
Pretty much, yeah. That's why I'm saying it comes down to that's why I said TubeBuddy would be a more fair fight.
Oh, we
Alita might still win because her Panzer Kunz is specifically designed against fighting cyborgs. But in saying that, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird because
Yeah, we
how would
lost.
you do against like flesh and blood? Technically, Karula is flesh and blood,
Yeah.
and she bloody manhandled Alita. But I mean, she's like how many
Well,
hundreds of years old?
she's a vampire too, so she's not a human really.
That's also true. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I like her a lot. I like vampires. So I used to tell friends if they ever made a American Indian vampire movie, I'd be all in for that one. I might watch that half as many times as I'd watch Alita, probably.
Well, you're immortal, man. So you're halfway there.
Well, that's my grandson says that anyway. So, okay. Some other androids I thought of too was some of those androids that are in Star Wars. Like say, and I don't mean just like C-3PO and those guys. I mean, Lita would handle them easily. But think about General Grievous. I mean, he's an android or somewhat crossed between a robot and android because he's alien. Who knows?
I think he's actually a cyborg.
Oh, is that right? Oh,
yeah, there's a brain in there. I don't know that it's a human brain, but
okay.
Yeah, I was reading something about his backstory there at one stage, and he got horribly hurt during a battle, and they cyberized him.
Oh wow!
And he doesn't have force powers, but he was taught to wield multiple lightsabers by Dooku.
Okay, well that's true. Yeah. Just a Fan has a pretty good idea about what about the Omni droid from from the Incredibles. Probably not that one that Mr. Incredible beat and threw him into the vat of, or not vat, but into the lava. But that one that was at the end. He was able to be damaged by a kind of a metal thing that was part of him, of course. And certainly Mr. Incredible was able to hit this thing and knock it, for away. I think Alita would take that Omni droid simply because, again, her Panzer Kunz is designed to destroy or to take down larger opponents. She's going to be faster than that Omni droid is. Oh, we lost Chaos. And she's got that plasma weapon, so she's going to carve him up. She's going to carve that droid up. So I'm not sure, Just Fan, you might not agree with that. Maybe if you don't, put something in the chat there. We'll put it on the screen. What about Alita versus Daleks or Cyberman from Doctor Who? Or Daleks, not Daleks, yeah.
I don't know their capabilities, so I
think
those
Daleks are too slow. I think they kind of plod along, don't they? From what I read,
they roll along.
Yeah, I don't see them.
How you defeat the Daleks is you just put stairs in.
Yeah, exactly.
Until one of the more recent series where they actually learn how to levitate, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, but I don't see them. I don't see the speed. Being. I don't see them having the speed to be able to take her. I think she's going to be way too fast for him. There's Chaos. He's back. So
I don't even know if they're whatever that weapon they use would actually hurt Alita.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. I only saw a couple of episodes of Doctor Who, the new Doctor Who. I saw a lot of them in the 70s, which that was kind of hokey compared to what we got now. But what is this? A CNC machine? What is this? I don't know what that is. Jeff put that in there. Anybody know what that is?
Oh, he's talking about Kren's Discord.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
I think you might be on, Creaky, but you never show up there.
Yeah,
No.
Jeff.
No, Jeff's not in the backstage.
Oh, wait. Jeff's at work. Yeah.
Yeah, he's at work. He's not going to be able to. Yeah, Jeff's not backstage. I'd put him in immediately. Any more cyborgs or androids or even robots for that matter? I'm trying to think of some.
What about that big ass robot, Iron Giant? The alien robot.
Oh,
Animated movie.
yeah.
Did you cover Astro Boy?
No.
We didn't talk about Astro Boy.
I actually finally saw the reboot movie that they did a couple of weeks back. And yeah, the scene where he works out he's got machine guns in his butt and he's like shocked. I got machine guns in my butt? Cracked me up.
Yeah, that giant robot you're talking about, Maxie, that thing is too slow, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Oh, here's a good one. You know those dark troopers that kind of kidnapped Grogu and took him up to what's his name at
Moff.
Gideon.
Yeah,
Gideon.
Gideon. Yeah, that's right. I don't know. I know Luke Skywalker made short work of those guys, but
I think the plasma encased Damascus blade would chop them up pretty good.
I don't even think it would be. I'm pretty sure Den of Barjack, scaled down to 6 feet, could take dark troopers.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Or I even think, the Chaos Body could take out dark troopers with a katana. That's about it.
Well, those dark troopers, I don't get the sense that they have any kind of superhuman ability, except they can fly. Obviously,
well, they've got armor that.
Yeah, they got armor. Yeah, that's true.
But
they're not super strong or fast, though. They're not any of that. They're just.
Yeah, but they're carrying some pretty heavy guns on them. Though.
Yeah, they got some. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they do have that.
But they were a remake from an earlier Star Wars expanded universe idea from the video game Dark Forces.
Yeah, I vaguely remember.
Yeah,
and
I
Dark
played that
Forces
game.
had some variety in the game to what Dark Troopers did. Some of them would fly around. Some of them would fire rockets, and so on and so forth. So in the video games where they originally were made, they had a lot more variety and strategy to them than what you saw in The Mandalorian.
Yeah. But you do bring up a good point, though. Something you struck my memory here is that there was a couple of androids that were in a Star Trek original series episode. One was played by Ted Cassidy. He was in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Really big guy. He was a big android. And then there was a woman, I can't remember her name. She wasn't particularly, she had no superhuman abilities. I guess the big android probably was a lot faster. I mean, a lot stronger, but I think Alita would take either one of them. Well, certainly the woman that this guy made, I guess, for his own purposes. but the other android, I can't remember his name, but played by Ted Cassidy, really strong, but not particularly a great fighter, and certainly no superhuman qualities other than strength. I think Alita would take him. Yeah, that's a good point, Avon, that, can be sliced by a lightsaber, that's for sure. And it kind of makes you wonder if you can even slice that. To me, that says they could be sliced with that plasma weapon with the Damascus blade. So I think so.
Well,
I think
even without plasma, Dan Barjack sliced a 4-story tall cyborg right down the middle with a katana.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, he didn't need plasma to do that. He just
that's
swung
right.
the blade really fast.
Yeah. Now
Well,
here's
not,
one that. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, here's one that David Alexander brings up: Alita versus Thanos versus Darkseid. Well, Thanos and Darkseid are not androids or robots or certainly cyborgs. I don't know. I guess with Thanos, you might make the case he's a cyborg with that Infinity Gauntlet. Maybe. I don't know. That's pretty weak, I think. But I think we did a stream on this a few weeks ago about Alita, not all three of them in a fight together, but I think we, and Angelus, tell me, kind of help me out of my memory here on this one, but I think we determined that Alita would beat Thanos if he didn't have, say, if he only had one stone or something like that. You know, if it wasn't, as long as it wasn't the time stone or the space stone. Let's say if he just had the power stone, Alita would make short work of him, and especially in her Imaginos body, she would. We figured she probably had a 90% chance of beating him, and then even in a Berserker body, we thought maybe she was at least even with him, maybe 75%. I don't know. Darkseid was a little different. He's more of like a god, you know. Thanos is kind of he's almost a god, I guess. But Darkseid is one of the new gods.
The Titans in
yeah,
Marvel Universe are considered gods.
Yeah,
by a lot of people, and Thanos is the last one.
Yeah. And I think Avon brings up a good point, too, about the Omega effect that Darkseid has. Would be a tough thing. But I do remember seeing in that movie, animated movie called Justice League War, where Darkseid shot those beams at Wonder Woman, and she held up that sword and kind of absorbed them, you know, and then, of course, stabbed him in the eye, you know, with that sword. So I believe Alita might be able to do a similar thing, you know, with that. Who knows? You know,
Darkseid is pretty inconsistent. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
In terms of what he can do, I mean, he supposedly teleported Doomsday light years away just by the beams, or he just totally destroys somebody.
Well, I think with Darkseid, though, one of the things about him is that there's many versions of Darkseid. One of them is that, you know, there's a kind of a multiverse level Darkseid, and I think what Avon was saying, that if Alita was to fight that version of Darkseid, she'd be dead in a second. I mean, because he's omnipotent, he's, you know, omniscient, he's all these things. But there are some kind of, I wouldn't call them clones, but they're kind of like projections of him in different universes.
Avatars.
I think she and her Imaginos body would take them, you know, or she'd have a good chance to take them. But the omniverse or the multiverse, rather, Darkseid, she's not going to have a chance against him, you know. So I guess it just depends on what version of Darkseid, you know, that she'd be fighting against. But once again, Darkseid's not an android or a cyborg, you know, so he's a flesh and blood.
The parademons are cyborgs, but they're cannon fodder.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. Parademons are, and she would destroy them. Now, she might have a problem with them in that there's so many of them, you know. But against one, I mean, Batman was able to beat one, you know, I mean, and beat him easily. So, I mean, you know, Alita certainly is going to be more in a challenge than Batman.
Superman knocks out parademons by clapping his hands. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, Avon says with that Omega effect beam, you know, coming from his eyes, Alita has no chance. See, I kind of disagree with that, because there was that one scene in Justice League War where, like I said, Wonder Woman was able to, you know, kind of deflect those beams or absorb their energy with her sword, you know, and now we don't know what that sword is versus Alita's. No, we don't know that, you know, but I think I wouldn't say she has no chance, you know, against that version of Darkseid. But again, I think the multiverse Darkseid is going to be way too much. I don't think she's going to, you know, I don't think she'd stand a chance against that Darkseid.
Well, with Darkseid, as Maxie would say, the whole rule of cool BS.
Yeah.
If it's going to apply to one side, it's going to have to apply to the other.
Yeah.
Imaginos 2.1 would be a much more level playing field.
Yeah, I think so. Here's a Avon Alita versus C3PO. Even in her doll body, she's going to make short work of him. I mean, that's not going to last long, And
well, forget C3PO is a pacifist.
yeah,
You
that's
want to
right.
talk
He's
about
not.
a violent protocol droid? That's HK-47.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Those droids that were in the Phantom Menace, I guess, right?
No. HK-47 is in the Old Republic RPG, and he's also in Knights
Okay.
of the Old Republic. But basically, he's the protocol droid that got his core changed so that he isn't a pacifist like C-3PO is. He's an assassin,
Yeah.
and he calls biological beings meat bags.
Okay. Oh, here's one. We didn't.
Query:
Yeah.
could I really beat Alita, Master? Like a
Answer no. Answer is no. Mecha Godzilla. Holy moly! I I don't know what that's a guy. I guess that's a robot, isn't it? I guess.
Well, it depends which Godzilla which version of it.
Yeah, that's
Godzilla's. One of them just was a machine built around the skeleton of the original Godzilla that died in 1954.
right. Okay.
The other variants, yeah, it's a full android. And then there was the TV series and that spun off 1998 where they had Cyberzilla. Again, it's a cyborg made from a dead Godzilla.
I hadn't considered that. I don't know what she would do against Mecha Godzilla. I mean, he can.
Collapsers.
That's right. Well, we don't
have those special bullets.
Well, the only thing is we don't know if those collapser rounds will work against Mecha Godzilla. I mean, they're great against berserker cells, but we don't know what effect that would have on Mecha Godzilla because he probably doesn't have any berserker cells. So
right.
Well, I guess we'll find out in 4 days.
If she doesn't win, she could take some people down with her if she uses collapsers.
Yeah. I guess there's those, in Avatar, those guys would ride those, they would ride, what are those damn robots those guys would get in and, kind of walk around in them, what they
The mechs?
The mech, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're too slow. I think Alita would take that. I mean, I guess you could make the case that there could be like a cyborg because it's got a human in it. It's mechanized, but even if it was, Alita would take that thing in a heartbeat. I mean, it's too slow, and it's it's going to be susceptible to plasma weapons. So,
Alita, doll body Alita versus modified iRobot.
You mean from that Will Smith movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be a fairly interesting for those robots. I'm not sure they have fighting skills like Panzerkunst.
Well, they have combat capabilities when they go, quote unquote, dark side, because the AI goes whack. Okay,
yeah, maybe against the doll body, but anything above that, I think she's going to take them.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. Now, the disadvantage once again she'd have against them would be there's so many of them. It'd be kind of like those parademons. Dizzy.
Where'd Dizzy go anyway?
He jumped off, I guess, or we lost him. Well, that's a good point. We came up with this a couple of weeks ago. Alita versus Ultron. Now he's definitely a android, I guess, or glorified robot or something. I think we established that she'd take him in her berserker body or certainly her Imaginos body. She'd take him. I mean The doll body, who knows? I mean, I can't remember, Angelus, if you can remember what we said about that she might have had like 50% or maybe 75%. I can't remember in her doll body, a lower percentage. But yeah, that's right. Dizzy's getting out of hand, but of course that's our Diz. So anyway.
Yeah, can't think of any others. I mean, I probably could, but not within the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Give me a good half hour. I'll probably think of a few more.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to cut the stream short a little bit here in a little bit because I got a birthday party to go to. So let's see. I can't think of any others off the top of my head, though. Certainly those droids in Star Wars, those ones that kind of rolled around and fired those weapons. I think they're fast, and they got some pretty potent weaponry, but it's metal, so they're going to be able to be chopped up. So Johnny Five.
I don't think they fight because they've got a common enemy in Nova.
Yeah, that's right.
I had to say that. Was it Nova like a mega company or conglomerate or whatever you want to call it? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I mean, I remember seeing the movie, but I was like 5.
Okay.
You probably know a lot better because you would have been, 40?
Yeah, thanks a lot there, Angelus. Yeah, it probably was about 40. Now that you mention it. That was only a few years ago. So anyway. Okay, now this has nothing to do with Lita versus cyborgs and stuff, but that's a good thought there that Just a Fan came up with. If you were truly a cyborg, you get feedback from your various extremities or your limbs. I think we've kind of seen that with Tilly Lockheed, haven't we? I mean, granted, her level of or technology for her being a cyborg is not like Alita, because Alita's is directly tied into her brain, But and she has to rely on the senses coming out of her arm to communicate with her hands. But okay. And another good thought, how would you do any of this if you couldn't get any active feedback from your limbs if you were really a cyborg? In other words, if you had machine hands but a human brain, the connections would have to be, the technology would be far advanced over what we have today. Because I don't think we can do that yet. We have a biologist on the stream. Have you seen anything about that, Maxie? I think we might have just lost Maxie, or he's muted.
Well, shit, I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
You should be used to that by now.
Yeah, I do that.
Shut up, you.
So anyway,
I was just saying that they're working on it.
Yeah.
I don't know that they've got anything, particularly usable yet. I think they've probably made the most advances in trying to make artificial eyes.
Yeah.
That's been a big one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would reckon that there's no sort of texture sensors or touch sensors in Tilly Lockie's arms.
Yeah.
They're just bare physical replacements.
Yeah, exactly. She can do some cool stuff with it. She can pick bottles up and eat with it and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah, but you close your eyes and feel around and do stuff without being able to see. But if she closes her eyes, she's stuffed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she doesn't know what to do. Yeah. Yeah, and Just a Fan also, observed that, she doesn't really have feedback from the limb itself. She can tell the limb what to do, but it doesn't come back with a message back to her brain. So, The only message I guess she gets from her brain is from her arm, that kind of she sees it and she can kind of control it that way, but she don't get any direct feedback from the limb itself. So is 7 of 9 a cyborg? I don't remember that. I know she was in the Borg one time.
Well, the Borg are cyborgs.
They are cyborgs. Yeah,
they're all connected together, so they create a hive mind. So
yeah,
yes,
exactly.
I understand that when the Borgs are repatriated, like they were doing in the first season of Picard, they can't get all the tech out of them. They'll kill them if they take it all out. So they stay cyborgs, but I mean they're not TRs. They're just enhanced humans.
Yeah, they're peons.
But I mean, Alita would tear them apart unless they got some sort of fantastic weapon off.
Yeah, they're too slow. I mean, she'd probably in her doll body, she'd beat them. So beat one of them anyway. So okay, well, that's another thought there. About mech suits. Yeah, I mean, we talked about that a little bit. About Iron Man. I guess. Tony Stark's not a cyborg, but you could make the case that if he's in one of his suits, you could say he's a cyborg, maybe. Actually, I've even read, and you might back me up on this, Maxie. I've even read when you drive a car, you're a cyborg. I mean, because you and the car are doing something mutually. You're controlling it. So.
Yes and no. Cyborgs generally, it's supposed to be implanted technology that either enhances the body or replaces part of the body. So I can't see that you sitting in a car would make you a cyborg unless you were following the theory of the Cars universe, which basically says that there are people in there and they've been integrated into the vehicle, and that's why the vehicle seems sentient. Yeah. So, I mean, that would be cyborg, but that would be sort of like an encased cyborg. You're no longer recognizable as human.
Yeah, it's kind of a weak case for cyborg, isn't it? And the same could be said for Tony Stark.
Yeah.
His suit, I mean, that's not integrated into him at a very, intimate level. I mean, he wears a suit and he can command nanotech and stuff like that in his later suits, but it's not an intimate part of him, to where he can, control it with his brain. He has to touch something or he has to give a command or something like that for it to happen. So
I'm sure there's a definition somewhere on the internet. There always is.
Yeah, we can look it up, I guess. But okay, well, any last thoughts, guys? I'm about to bring the stream to a close here pretty quick. So, any last thoughts about Alita? I know she's our favorite. She's all in our hearts. So that's going to be that in our hearts. She's going to be number one all the time, no matter who she's up against. But yeah. Any other last thoughts or any other maybe some real important cyborg or android we missed?
No, I can't. Like I said, I can't think of anything right now.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, the only thing I can think of now that it comes to an end is inspired by Kishiro anyway, or it inspired Kishiro is RoboCop. But I mean,
that's right. That's one we didn't think of. RoboCop. He's too slow. So I mean, he's not going to be able to handle her speed.
He's definitely too slow to play the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What about Darth Vader?
Oh, good point. He is definitely a cyborg.
Uh-huh.
And he commands
machine now, man.
She might. I think she'd have a tough time with him, even in her berserker body. But I think in her Imaginos body, maybe she's got a chance. But yeah, you're right. I think he'd be tough.
It's the Force. It's not his cybernetic body.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's the added extras.
He can't move near the speed of light, so that's why I'm saying in her berserker body, she could probably take him because, he's not even going to see her. they slice him in half. But yeah, you're right. In a berserker body or the doll body, she's toast. So.
What about Inspector Gadget?
Oh, yeah.
Am I reaching?
Yeah, you're reaching
No,
long.
not at all.
I think that fight would be over before it started.
Okay, fair enough. That was said more as a joke than anything.
Yeah, okay. Well,
What about Roy Batty?
I don't know who that is.
He was a combat model. That's the antagonist in. Oh, come on, brain work. Why does my brain not want to work?
Because it's like, what, 8 o'clock in the morning for you?
No, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning now.
Yeah, Creaky got his
Blade
time.
Runner. He was in Blade Runner. Why can my brain not?
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Rutger Hauer's character.
Yeah.
She'd tear him up, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, he's strong. He was able to hold up. Harrison Ford's character with one hand. While he was almost about to fall off that skyscraper. But other than that, he's not anything special about him. He's got superhuman strength, probably, but that's about it. I think even in her doll body, she's gonna have a chance, and then certainly in her berserker or Imaginos body, she's gonna tear him up. So or tuned body, she's gonna dispatch him. So.
What about number 6 from the newer Battlestar Galactica?
I don't believe I've seen that.
What?
No, I haven't.
You need to rectify that.
All right.
You need to fix that up, dude.
All right.
I just looked it up. Cyborg, a fictional or hypothetical person whose physical abilities are extended beyond normal human limitations by mechanical elements built into the body. So, as opposed to, I guess, like anything that can be taken on or off, like a piece of clothing, I wouldn't say classifies as being built into, but anything that's, like you said, integrated without having to be easily separated, that would be cyberized.
Okay. So what you're saying then is Tilly Lockie's not even a cyborg. See, I don't know if I agree with that definition, although it's probably coming from a subject matter expert who knows more than I do about it. But
well, you could argue that the hero arms were built so that you can take them
on and off.
On and off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But in functionality, it's
integrated.
In a pseudo way, it's integrated or built in.
Yeah.
Because of as a flesh and blood human, obviously without having limbs, her physical abilities are severely limited. So by having the hero arms integrated, those limits are being brought back up to a normal human standard again. So
okay, who's this guy Goddard that Just a Fan said from Jimmy Neutron? Who is that?
The name sounds familiar, but I can't for the life of me.
I don't believe it. I've heard of Jimmy Neutron, but I've never seen an episode. So, also there's that character from Ex Machina. That's, I guess you could say that's a cyborg, or is that an android?
I think it was an android.
Yeah. And Dizzy B, we already talked about the Daleks, so we think Alita would chop them up pretty easy. And V's not a cyborg, is he? He's not. I thought he was just a guy that put a mask on.
referring to V from
Yeah, the movie
Cyberpunk?
V, you know, that Hugo Weaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, until he confirms it, perhaps he's referring to V from Cyberpunk.
Oh, okay.
But again, by definition, he's definitely, or he/she, depending on how you create the character, is definitely a cyborg. But yeah, no, the leader would just bitch slap him around the Iron City or Night City or any city really.
Yeah. Jimmy's AI dog. I don't know who that is or what that is. So
But seriously, Creaky, you need to watch the new Battlestar Galactica. New being 20 years ago rather than 40 years ago.
Oh, so 20 years ago was new, is that right?
Apparently, yes. God, I hate this getting old crap.
Hey, it's better than the alternative.
Yeah, fair enough.
Trust me.
Man, if I had half of Creaky's fitness when I was that
Like just a fan, chalk it up to the age gap. Yeah, that's it. Okay, guys. Well, I'm gonna bring the stream to a close here because I got a birthday party to go to. So anyway, I guess we'll close it, and then before we do, though, I guess I want now tomorrow. I guess you're going to be the. Well, let me just say this about our conclusion here. Yeah, Alita is better than some of the cyborgs and androids than others. She's better than probably most robots. You know, so anyway, it's once again, she's number one in our heart. So that's we're going to go into a little bit of a bias there, but Alita's our girl. And of course, we know, why is this image here? Because I like it, and because I'm only here for our girl and the Alita Army. So before we sign off, though, I guess tomorrow, Angeles, you're going to be the host on this. So this is going to be now. This is we don't see that on the screen here, but you want to tell the folks a little bit about tomorrow's episode on Radio Chaos?
It's just essentially exploring the parallels between two vastly different characters, if you will, or IPs, with and universes too, in a sense, between Alita and the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
and whether you compare the characters individually or, like I said, the wider or grander intellectual property, there are quite a lot of there's more parallels than there are differences, that's for sure. Especially, and that'll be more sorry, excuse me. That'll be more explored in tomorrow's show.
Yeah. Now I have seen the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles there, Maxie, so you can't get me on that one. So
Actually, you probably see more than I have then.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Maxie, you've got to fix that now. Actually, I would genuinely love Maxie to see at least the first one and tell me if there's not some, like, again, we'll be discussing it tomorrow anyway, but like, if you can't see any elements at the very least that you could say, wow, that's like, well, it's not from Alita, but like, it's like the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Just on a like I said, on the element sort of level, not like a direct copy or adaptation, because even the comic is from like, it's a Western comic as opposed to a Japanese manga. So yeah.
You're talking about on the themes level.
Yes.
Yeah. So what are you recommending I watch before tomorrow's stream?
At the very least, just the first live action adaptation.
You mean the
which was-
1990 movie?
Correct.
the one that the movie seller went over a couple
Oh
of weeks
hell,
ago.
I haven't even seen that one, so maybe I need to watch it too.
I think I did see it back in like 1990, but like that was
You
30
probably
odd years
did,
ago.
actually.
1990 was only 10 years ago. No.
Hang on, 92,
That's 31 years ago.
30, yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, guys, and I haven't read the show notes. Am I managing that stream, or is Tony going to manage it?
You haven't read the show notes because they haven't been done yet, because I can never catch Angelus to show me how to do it.
Well, I'll be there anyway, so if we need a stream manager and Tony can't do it, I can still do it. So,
Yeah, I haven't heard a peep out of Tony this week. So.
yeah, I haven't either. I know he came up with a thumbnail, but he didn't. I haven't heard other than that. I haven't heard from him. So,
Has he been released from Twitter jail yet?
Yes.
Oh, good.
what did he do to get in Twitter jail?
Oh, Twitter doing Twitter things.
Oh,
Stupid.
Jesus. I've been.
I mean, I don't know the full details, but I don't. I just know that Twitter's a cesspool.
I know I got put in Twitter jail a couple of times because the Republican Party didn't like my tweets. I was using the word dumbass a lot. So, so I changed I flew under the radar and changed my S's to dollar signs. And I changed my spelling of the word F to underscore instead of U. So anyway, so now I'm not in Twitter jail, even though I still use the same amount of stuff. Anyway. Okay, so anyway, I guess we'll bring the stream to a close, and it's really enjoyable. Kind of similar to what we did when we compare an Alita to other superheroes, or she's not a superhero, but to superheroes and to supervillains. So this was more on the cyborg and android perspective there. So like we do on Radio Chaos, we're going to do our call to action on my count of 3, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3.
Buy those
Buy those
Blu-rays,
Blu-rays, baby.